1987, the Superman franchise was in trouble. After their weird comedy of Superman 3, audiences were losing interest, but Christopher Reeve was still believed in as the character, so he came back for one final flight. The result is Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, a film with a powerful message buried under some of the worst visual effects, bizarre editing, and baffling choices in superhero movie history. This is The Last Son of Krypton, and today we're diving into the sequel that tried to save the world and nearly killed the franchise instead. So let's be real, the idea behind Superman 4 is not bad inherently on paper. Christopher Reeve co-wrote the story. He wanted Superman to take on the real-world issue of nuclear weapons, a noble, global, even emotional premise. Superman is torn here. Should he interfere with humanity's destiny, or should he become a political figure? In one of the film's better scenes, he visits the UN and says, "I'm going to rid the world of nuclear weapons." And he does. He literally gathers every nuke on Earth and throws them into the sun. But the execution is that's where everything falls apart. Lex Luthor returns here, played again by Gene Hackman, and he's back to his old tricks. This time, he creates a Superman clone called Nuclear Man. With DNA from Superman's hair and a bit of sunshine, Nuclear Man is born. Gold boots, Fabio hair, glowing fingernails, and all. And he barely speaks. He growls a lot, and he causes destruction sometimes. Other times, he just kind of stands around. He's basically a rejected comic book villain with the power of lightning roar. Superman 4 was made for just $17 million, a fraction of the first film's budget. And the result is reused flying shots, visible wires, green screens so bad that they make YouTube fan films look polished, scenes that jump from daylight to night in the same shot, and there's one moment where Superman and Nuclear Man are fighting around the moon, and it literally looks like action figures being waved in front of a spotlight. The film was definitely rushed, butchered, and chopped to pieces. Entire subplots were deleted, the pacing feels broken. Even the score, which tries to use John Williams' theme, can't save it. Mario Kidder returns as Lois, and while her chemistry with Reeve is still solid, her role here feels awkward. Then there's Lacey Warfield, a new character played by Mariel Hemingway, who's the daughter of a sleazy tabloid tycoon trying to buy the Daily Planet. The movie weirdly sets up a double date with Clark and Lacey, Superman with Lois, and it plays out like a sitcom from the 60s. It's charming, but feels completely out of place in a movie about global nuclear disarmament. Nuclear Man kills Superman with a scratch. He tosses him around like a rag doll and leaves him to die. But the twist is that Clark uses a crystal from the Fortress of Solitude to heal himself, off screen of course, and it's never explained, and the movie barely slows down before we're back to a final fight on the moon. Superman, of course, wins, traps Nuclear Man in an elevator, and throws him back into the sun. Once again, problem solved. Superman 4 tries to deliver a moral that peace can't be forced, that humans must choose it. And that's not inherently a bad idea, but when you surround that message with bad effects, incoherent cuts, and one of the weakest villains in superhero history, the message does not land. Instead of feeling inspired, you end up feeling disappointed. Superman 4 is the weakest entry by far in the Reeve saga, but you can still see the heart in it. Reeve cared for sure, and he wanted to tell a story that had meaning, but the budget, studio, and the lack of care behind the scenes crushed this ambition. It gets points for heart, points for trying something different, but the execution is painfully bad. This should have been the epic finale Superman deserved, and instead it ended the franchise for nearly 20 years. And with that, that is episode 4 of The Last Son of Krypton, but the story doesn't end here. Almost 2 decades later, the Man of Steel returned with Superman Returns. A soft reboot, if you would, a spiritual sequel, and a film that tried to recapture Donner's magic. So with that, like, comment on your thoughts on Superman 4, and subscribe because we're not done flying yet. And remember, he fought for peace, but the world just wasn't ready.
Destroy Superman.